She said she almost died. Tamar Braxton, a woman who has lived her entire adult life in the public eye, dropped a confession on Instagram that stopped her fans cold. The words read like a nightmare. She claimed she was found lying in a pool of blood, her face disfigured, her teeth shattered, her nose fractured, her body too weak to even speak. It was the kind of announcement that makes strangers pray for someone they've never met. The kind of news that sends fans rushing to comment sections, offering love, support, and candlelit emojis for her recovery. And in those first hours, that's exactly what happened. People rallied behind her, lifting her in their words, holding her in spirit. But just days later, the story began to twist, and the sympathy turned into suspicion. Because suddenly, instead of hospital silence, Tamar was uploading videos about a brand new EP. She was smiling, recording, promoting. And in the background, whispers started to grow louder. Had the tragedy been exaggerated, or worse, staged? That suspicion didn't come from tabloids or anonymous trolls. It came from someone who had been with her the night before the supposed accident. Her longtime friend, the outspoken commentator Funky Dineva. He said he begged Tamar to clear his name as rumors began linking him to her injury, but she never did. And then, after being silent long enough for people to believe the worst, he took to YouTube and dropped a 25-minute bombshell of his own. In his video, he called her story what he believed it really was, a PR stunt. Now, imagine the betrayal in that moment. On one side, a woman telling the world she nearly lost her life. On the other, the man she celebrated a birthday with just hours before, insisting the story doesn't add up and that she left him to carry the weight of rumors that he had somehow harmed her. Two friends, once inseparable, now locked in a public unraveling that left fans choosing sides and questioning what was real. The truth, if there is one, remains tangled between loyalty, silence, and the hunger for attention. Funky Dineva recalled that night in painful detail. Dinner at Ruth's Chris, laughter at V12 Lounge in Atlanta, a night that ended when he dropped her safely at home. No fights, no drama, no sign of what was to come. Yet hours later, Tamar was telling the world she had been discovered in a blood-soaked state. People connected the dots backward, pointing fingers at him simply because he was the last friend seen with her. That digital jury of strangers didn't need evidence. They only needed suspicion. And that suspicion grew darker as Tamar stayed silent. He begged her to release a statement. Just a single post saying, "Funky didn't do this." But the silence dragged on, and silence can be louder than words. By the time he went public, Funky wasn't just defending himself. He was ripping back the curtain on Tamar's version of events. He read her text messages, where she casually shifted conversations away from her supposed injuries, never explaining how she went to bed and woke up missing 4 teeth. He told viewers how her own publicist called him in a panic, asking how they could bury the story before it swallowed both of them. And then came his most cutting words. If this was all a PR stunt, Tamar hadn't just lied. She had weaponized people's empathy, dragging him into the shadows of scandal that might have never happened. But the story doesn't end there. Tamar did respond, and the way she framed it only deepened the divide. She wrote that she loved Funky Dineva no matter what he said. That if she had known about the rumors while she was in the hospital, she would have spoken up sooner. That she only wanted peace. But beneath those words, there was a gap. A space between what was said and what was left unsaid. Because according to Funky, she knew exactly what was happening. He had told her. He had texted her. He had begged her to speak. And she hadn't. And this is where the line between personal crisis and calculated performance begins to blur. Fans who had been worried sick started to feel misled. People who had prayed for her recovery now felt manipulated. Funky's followers began to view Tamar not as a victim, but as someone playing the role of one to spark conversation about her music. If true, it's one of the coldest strategies in celebrity PR. And if false, it's one of the cruelest betrayals of friendship. But the question is, who benefits from this story? Tamar, who gained attention just as her music was dropping. Or Funky, who turned his own accusations into must-watch content. The lines blur in a digital age where pain, whether real or staged, can be monetized in clicks, views, and headlines. And behind all of it, one chilling question lingers. Was Tamar's blood-soaked confession a cry for help, or a script designed for maximum impact? Before I continue, if you're drawn into this story and want more deep-dive breakdowns into the hidden truths, shocking betrayals, and the moments Hollywood doesn't want you to see, make sure you hit subscribe. This channel is where the real stories come to light. Because what happened next took the drama from personal betrayal into a much bigger conversation. One about trust, manipulation, and the cost of playing with the very thing fans hold sacred: their empathy. When the video dropped, Funky Dineva didn't come across as angry or vindictive. He came across as wounded. Wounded by the weight of a false narrative he felt forced to carry. Wounded by a friendship that, in his words, failed him when he needed it most. He admitted he didn't want to expose her. He admitted he was holding on to secrets about her health, her relationships, her life. Secrets he never wanted to share. But when the silence dragged on, when the accusations mounted, when strangers began labeling him a monster, he reached his breaking point. His choice was simple: speak now, or be destroyed forever in silence. And that's the tragedy of it all, because even in the middle of clearing his own name, he still spoke carefully, deliberately, protecting her from the sharpest edges of the truth. He could have gone further. He could have painted her in the worst possible light. But instead, he spoke with restraint. And that restraint makes the story even more complicated, because if he's telling the truth, it means Tamar may have chosen to let her friends suffer in silence just to preserve a story she crafted for the public. The fallout has been brutal. Tamar's fans are split. Some defend her, saying she must have been confused, traumatized, or too overwhelmed to respond to Funky's requests. Others believe Funky outright, accusing her of orchestrating one of the most manipulative PR moves in recent celebrity memory. And then there are those who don't know what to believe, caught in the gray space between loyalty and betrayal, wondering if both Tamar and Funky are victims in their own ways. But as the days passed, something deeper began to emerge. People started asking bigger questions. What happens when celebrities blur the line between personal tragedy and performance? What happens when fans can no longer tell the difference between a genuine cry for help and a calculated publicity stunt? And most of all, what happens to the people caught in the crossfire? The friends, the colleagues, the ones dragged into a storm they never asked to weather? The night at Ruth's Chris and V12 Lounge became a puzzle piece in a narrative that no longer made sense. Tamar said she didn't remember what happened. Funky insisted nothing unusual occurred. Yet someone, or something, had left her in a state shocking enough for her to claim near death. If not him, then who? If not attack, then what? Each unanswered question made the silence heavier. Each contradiction made the truth harder to grasp. For Funky Dineva, the unanswered questions weren't just frustrating, they were dangerous. His name was being circulated, his reputation dragged through the mud, his character dissected by people who didn't know him. In his words, it could have all been stopped with one sentence from Tamar. Just one, but it never came. Instead, she continued promoting her album. She continued framing herself as someone healing, reflecting, moving forward, without ever once publicly exonerating the man who had been by her side hours before the alleged incident. And when her response finally did come, it wasn't the vindication he needed. It wasn't a clear denial of the rumors. It was vague, softened, more about peace and healing than truth and accountability. To Funky, and to many of his viewers, that felt like yet another betrayal. But the story doesn't just expose Tamar's choices. It also reveals something unsettling about the way fame operates in the digital age. Attention has become currency. Tragedy sells. And the quickest way to capture headlines isn't with joy or celebration. It's with pain. Whether real or manufactured, pain gets people watching. Pain gets people talking. Pain keeps fans glued to their screens. And in that equation, the line between authentic suffering and manufactured drama becomes dangerously thin. The most haunting part of Funky's video wasn't his anger. It was his exhaustion. Exhaustion from carrying someone else's story. Exhaustion from defending himself. Exhaustion from friendship that had seemingly evaporated in the face of fame. He said he never wanted it to come to this. He said he never wanted to be the one to reveal the cracks in Tamar's story. But when your name is the one being tarnished, when your life is the one under scrutiny, silence is no longer an option. And this is where Tamar's silence speaks the loudest. Because if she truly cared about protecting a friend, if she truly wanted peace, she could have ended the speculation with a single post. Instead, she let the narrative unfold until Funky had no choice but to speak. And once he did, the trust between them shattered. But if you think that's where the story ends, think again. Because what happened next revealed just how messy and unforgiving the world of celebrity friendships can be, and why loyalty often collapses under the weight of public scandal. The aftermath wasn't just about Tamar and Funky. It became a mirror for the way people consume celebrity culture itself. Fans who had once been loyal now questioned whether they had been manipulated. Comment sections filled with anger, disappointment, and confusion. Some wrote that they had been ready to ride for Tamar, to defend her against anyone who doubted her. Others admitted they had stayed up at night worrying about her safety, praying for her healing, only to feel duped when an album announcement followed. That sense of betrayal cut deeper than any feud between two friends. It was a betrayal of trust between star and audience. And still, Tamar played it carefully. She leaned into language about peace, healing, and moving forward, never directly addressing the heart of the accusations. To her, it may have been about rising above the drama, choosing not to fan the flames. But to others, it felt like avoidance, a refusal to confront the wreckage left in her wake. Because silence, in this case, wasn't neutral. It was an answer in itself. What makes this unraveling so haunting is that Tamar has always lived with her heart on display. Her career, her relationships, her struggles, all of it has been shared with the public in some way. And that openness has earned her a loyal following. People see themselves in her vulnerability, her resilience, her music. But when vulnerability starts to look like strategy, when tears and tragedy are followed by album links and promotional clips, that trust begins to fracture. And once broken, trust is almost impossible to repair. Meanwhile, Funky Dineva stood firm. His video was not the rant of a scorned friend. It was the testimony of someone cornered by circumstance. He detailed his attempts to protect Tamar's secrets, to shield her from scrutiny even as the rumors endangered him. He described the calls with her publicist, the texts he sent that went unanswered, the moments he hoped she would simply say the words that would set him free. But the words never came. And when he finally spoke, his truth resonated with thousands who had once believed Tamar's story without question. And here lies the deeper tragedy. These two were not just acquaintances. They were friends. They celebrated milestones together. They trusted each other with the kind of intimacy that only years can build. And yet, when scandal struck, that bond fractured under the weight of public perception. It's a reminder that in the world of fame, even friendships can be sacrificed on the altar of narrative. The whispers around Tamar's alleged PR stunt also opened an uncomfortable conversation about the industry itself. Because Tamar isn't the first celebrity accused of using personal pain to drive attention, and she won't be the last. But the stakes of this story are higher. We're not just talking about exaggerated drama. We're talking about the possibility of faking a near-death experience. About letting a friend be branded a villain in the court of public opinion. About manipulating the most sacred part of human connection, empathy. As one commentator put it, Tamar didn't just play with her story, she played with ours. And that's the reason this scandal lingers. Because people want to believe their prayers matter. They want to believe that when they support a celebrity through a crisis, their energy, their care, their words are received with gratitude and sincerity. To find out that it may have all been part of a rollout strategy cuts deeper than a simple lie. It makes fans question their own instincts, their own compassion. It makes them wonder if they've been complicit in a performance without knowing it. And yet, despite all the accusations, despite Funky's testimony, despite the timelines that don't quite add up, there's still no definitive answer. Tamar has never fully explained what happened that night. She has never offered the clarity Funky demanded, and maybe she never will. Maybe the truth is more complicated than either side is willing to admit. Maybe the silence is a shield against something darker. Or maybe, just maybe, the silence is the answer itself. But the story doesn't rest there. Because in the days after Funky's video, as Tamar continued to push her music and speak about peace, another shift happened. One that revealed the true cost of turning private pain into public spectacle. The silence became its own headline. The industry insiders, the blogs, the fans, they all dissected it, replaying Funky's video, rereading Tamar's posts, looking for cracks in the facade. And the more people searched, the more they realized how fragile this entire story had become. It wasn't just about whether Tamar lied or not. It was about what the lie, or even the perception of one, meant for her future, her credibility, and her connection with the people who once stood firmly behind her. The comments were relentless. Some called it sick, others said it was manipulative, and many pointed out how unfair it was to let Funky's name be dragged through the mud while she stayed silent. To them, the betrayal wasn't just in the story itself. It was in the choice not to protect a friend. Even those who still loved her music couldn't ignore the unease. Because no matter how talented, no matter how beloved, once trust is broken, the shadow of doubt lingers. Funky, for his part, seemed almost resigned. He made it clear that he didn't want to destroy Tamar. He wasn't trying to end her career or cancel her. He only wanted to clear his name. But in the process, he exposed something bigger. A culture where tragedy is currency, where friends become collateral damage, and where silence can cut deeper than words. His story was not just about Tamar. It was about what happens when loyalty collides with survival. And maybe that's why this story still haunts so many people. Because beneath the gossip, beneath the headlines, beneath the YouTube clips and Instagram stories, lies a question that feels much larger. What is the cost of turning your pain, or the illusion of pain, into entertainment? For Tamar, it may have cost her credibility. For Funky, it nearly cost him his reputation. For the fans, it cost them their trust. And once that trust is fractured, nothing is ever the same. So here we are, left with a story that may never be fully explained. Did Tamar truly suffer a private crisis that she could not put into words? Or did she orchestrate a public performance that spiraled beyond her control? Did Funky reveal the truth, or just his version of it? The answers may never come, but the questions will linger because they touch something deeper than just one celebrity feud. They touch the way we, as an audience, consume pain, believe stories, and hold on to the idea that our compassion can heal. And maybe that's the real heartbreak here. Because whether Tamar fell, whether she fought, whether she lied, or whether she cried out for help, the moment she pressed post, the story stopped being hers alone. It became ours. And now, we're left to piece together fragments of truth in a world where every tragedy might also be a performance. But what do you think? Was this a desperate cry for help twisted into a misunderstanding? Or was it, as Funky Dineva suggested, a carefully calculated stunt that went too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from finished. If you found yourself hooked by this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more cinematic deep dives into the scandals, betrayals, and hidden truths Hollywood doesn't want you to see. And when you're done, check out the next video on this channel. The story behind another celebrity unraveling you probably missed in the headlines. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't live in the spotlight. It hides in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered.
Hey guys, it's your girl Trey Hay, and prayers up to Tamar Braxton, who recently took to her social media pages to let people know that she almost passed away on Sunday, and it was because she was found with a pool of blood, broken teeth, just bruised up, I guess, from falling. She didn't really address what happened, but if you fall out somewhere and you're found, it can't be good. So we're definitely sending prayers to her and her family. Hopefully this is not something that is permanent and that she can make a full recovery from, but in the meantime, we definitely will be sending prayers.
It's sad to hear that happened. I mean, who knows what could have happened to her? She probably, who knows, because I'm not a doctor, but it sounds like she may have suffered some type of seizure or stroke or something, and that's why she's unaware. Like, that's scary. I can only imagine what she could possibly be going through right now. So prayers out to Tamar. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, and I'm gonna talk to y'all later.
Now pray for Tamar, because I don't know what's going on, but she sounds like she was pretty banged up. Now y'all know I love me some Tamar, but she did post this in her IG story, which was a bit concerning. Now she wrote this and posted in her IG story and says, "I struggle to write this, but everyone keeps calling me, and honestly, I can't even talk anymore, so I'm so weak." She goes on to say, "I almost died Sunday. I was found in a pool of blood from my friend with a face injury. As the days go by, the worse it is." And then she goes on to say, "I fractured my nose, lost some teeth, oh my God." And she said she lost mobility. She said, "The way I look at life now is totally different." And she finishes out her post and says that I'm looking on the mend, and my mental journey begins. Pray for me for real, y'all. I know how black people be like, "I'm gonna pray for you," and that's the prayer. No, y'all really pray for Tamar. And she finally writes, "I don't even know what happened to me," which is even more scarier. And thank God her friend found her, because goodness gracious, we could have lost Tamar. Now, after she had wrote that post, basically giving us a summary of what she knew, it doesn't seem like she knew an awful lot. She then posted this Bible verse, which is Proverbs 31. I'm for real, you guys, pray for Tamar. And saying, "I will pray for her," that is not the prayer. Really pray.
It's always something with Tamar Braxton. Always. And somebody on X Twitter made a good point. At this point, I'm starting to believe that something is not right with Tamar up here. Like, there may be something off. Maybe, like, and I don't know if maybe she admitted to this before, or I don't know that she's admitted to having something. I feel like she did admit to having some kind of like mental problem, but it's giving something along the lines of Kanye, maybe. Not as bad, because she don't say all the wild stuff that he's been saying, but something is not right with Tamar. So anyway, Tamar made a post for me. As a matter of fact, hold on, I got the post for y'all. She made this post. You can pause it and go read it if you want. I'm not gonna read it word for word, but basically, she said that she woke up on Sunday in a pool of blood, a fractured nose, some teeth missing, and she lost mobility. She said she almost died, and she does not know what happened. And to me, that is so crazy. Cause like, where did she wake? Did she wake up in her house? And if she did, was there not cameras like to show like, did she go home alone? Like it's. I have so many questions about this story. Questions that I'm sure, you know, as time progresses, that she may or may not answer. I feel like she would. But Tamar just always got something going on, like always. And maybe I feel like she was committed to some type of like mental thing when she tried to, you know, when her show was coming out. I don't know, but I guess prayers. Nothing I say. I guess definitely prayers to Tamar. I hope she gets everything figured out, and I hope she gets her life together. And I mean that in the most respectful way possible, because she is just so talented, so talented, and it's like she's known for all the drama in her life versus her voice and her talent. And I don't know, that's
Mar, I really feel like you did the most with your PR stunt. First of all, your voice is good enough. You don't have to do all of that. Second of all, I was ready to ride for you with Funky Dineva, okay? Because I thought he was really tripping, but it turns out that you were the one tripping. What is the problem, Tamar? Like, to do that and then really make people feel like something happened to you is crazy. It's actually sick. Like, I started contemplating, like, oh my God, maybe Tamar is sick. Maybe she's going through something. You know, her sisters, they were sick too. But no, it's just a PR stunt. It's crazy. Fuck you.
Y'all, this Funky Dineva and Tamar beef is the exact reason why I say people don't know how to be real friends anymore. Like, of course, none of us from the outside looking in knows the whole story of what happened, but one, if it was a PR stunt, Tamar should have let Funky Dineva in on what was going on, because if that was your friend, they would be able to hold your secret. Two, okay, you did it and you didn't let them in on what was going on. That should have never happened, because you're making people look bad. Y'all brought y'all beef to the internet first and foremost without even talking to each other. Y'all wasn't never real fair at all. Y'all didn't care about sacrificing the relationship to be beefing on the internet. Because if y'all was real friends, y'all would have sat down and talked to each other.
Whatever. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I never really cared for Tamar. Never. She said she's changed like over the years or whatever, but I don't see a change. I never saw the change. I just feel like she's always up to her old antics, like when she don't get her way. And that's just my opinion. Funky Dineva, I feel like he real as they come. Like, he gonna speak his mind and he gonna stand in his truth. And when I see them together, I mean, I'm not surprised. I feel like Atlanta is like a small world. Like, all the celebrities, they know each other. Even influencers and stuff, everybody links with everybody. I don't know. But I've always noticed, like, Tamar is just no one's friend. And I watched Funky Dineva's live, and he was just basically clearing his name, because this narrative been going on for a long time, for a while now, and basically blaming him for what happened to her. And he had no clue. I believe him.
Tamar was really lying. This was a publicity stunt. You got on the internet saying that you woke up in a pool of blood, that you were missing 4 teeth, and that you are happy to be alive and you see life totally different. And this was for PR. She need help. She needs help. And Funky Dineva, I know people, he's a polarizing character, okay? Like, in the social media space. But this right here, what Tamar did to him is wrong. Like, it's dead ass wrong. Like, no ma'am. Like, people were calling that man everything but a child of God, accusing him of setting Tamar up, or actually being the one that caused her to lose 4 teeth and to wake up in a pool of blood, only for it to come out, because I did watch his live, that he was messaging you, asking you to just say, like, hey y'all, Funky had no, like, he wasn't attached to this. And mind you, Tamar didn't say his name, but she knows how the internet works. that night they were hanging out because it was his birthday weekend, and people legit were like making up narratives about this man drugging her, only for you to be using this as promotion. He reached out to you, he reached out to your publicist, and all of a sudden y'all don't want to clear anything up until he gets down into the shade room's comments and he starts trying to vindicate himself. Now y'all want to call the man three-way to clear up the mess, when you had the opportunity to clear his name up the first time he asked you. That's nasty. And even in the live, he was trying to be nice. Like, he was being diplomatic. And I was like, bro, if it was me, I would unleash on you. Like, I would designate you as someone who is not my friend, and I would not care how this would affect you in any way. Because she texted him about, like, you know, don't ruin this for me. Like, you know, I put a lot of money into this project, but you can't clear my name, but I'm supposed to take care of you and make sure your career is okay. Yeah. That lady is talented, beautiful voice, but something ain't right in there. Something is not right in there and in here, because you don't do that to people.
Baby, I thought we were going to come on here together so we can discuss and be messy to see if Tamar really had fallen or if she got mushed in the face by that lady husband. But came to find out, it was a scheme tied set up to come at you with the bullshit. But no, for real, Tamar, is you cool? Because your behavior is giving very much psych eval. Because the lengths that you go to gain attention should be studied. And we're not even going to get on how many bridges you have burned with people.
Okay, she said this is not fair to Funky Dineva. This is what I think a lot of motherfuckers is actually missing. And if you really sit with this, I know the more I sit with this shit and analyze it and keep replaying how all this shit played out, it's actually real fucked up. Like, it's really, really, really fucked up. I'm gonna tell you why. The shit came out that she got found in the pool of blood. And Funky Dineva initially jumped on his show like an hour later after that statement she had posted was up and addressed it, because motherfuckers was actually trying to say that he had something to do with it. They were saying that he had the D word her. On the cool bitch, I didn't even know that they was together the night before, so that's really why I ran to his channel, because I was trying to see if the shit was true. So people saying that Funky Dineva just spoke out and he didn't have to and then nobody asked him to. Shit, he had to fucking speak out. Like, are you fucking crazy? If somebody is going around saying that something like this had happened to them, and people is online saying that you, the last person that was with that person, that got found in a pool of blood, and you supposed to have D word of this individual, your ass gonna jump on the line too.